Good day, my plant foldies. This is Richie of Grow Folds, and today we will be big box or plant shopping at the Lowe's off of Custer Road in McKinney, Texas. As always, please make sure you are hitting the like button for my videos, as it definitely helps with the engagement. And also follow me on Instagram at Grow Folds. You can send me a direct message, but if you haven't already, please subscribe as well, as I do plant shopping videos, 1 hour plant shopping videos daily. But anyways, we are going to be looking at all of the beautiful plants that this particular Lowe's has. I often visit this, and you can see right here, most Lowe's locations have all of these assorted tropical plants available. So they've got some cordyline plants and some mandevilla flowers right here. These are all offered by Rio. And you can see over here, look at this gorgeous looking cordyline or tea plant. I think that they are stunning, and we're just going to walk into this Lowe's, and you can see right from the get-go they've got some spathiphyllum in a self-watering planter. These peace lilies are for $15.98 by Costa Farms. You can see how gorgeous the peace lily looks like, and then right next to it are the larger peace lilies. So these plants actually can get very large very quickly, and you can see the price right here. It is for $27.98. Look at these large peace lilies, and they are actually in bloom. I'm just going to walk by all of these other large foliage plants, and you can see here they've got some more Costa Farms peace lilies. Look at how gorgeous that bloom is. Now with peace lilies, if you don't know the care tips, they're very easy to take care of plants. They are thirsty plants, so if you don't water them, they will just kind of like get a little bit wilty, but then once you water them, they'll come back, and so they're just a dramatic plant. I would tell you here, we've got some more hyacinths. It's nice to see that there's some hyacinths available that are not in full bloom just yet, because I know earlier they've had some that were already in full bloom. These are all for $14.98. Love hyacinths. They smell so good. And if you have ever played Animal Crossing New Horizons on Nintendo Switch, you can grow hyacinths. This was the first time this year that I've ever seen them in person, in real life. So that's really cool. But I do like that this Lowe's location is always stocked. And I've been eyeing this little egg chair here. I was thinking of possibly buying it and putting it into my plant room and maybe having some plants kind of crawl on it, but we'll see. Anyways, you can see right over here, they've got lots of plants. I'm just gonna pan over here and show you all of the plants that they have, and then we can just look at some of the plants specifically and I can talk about it. If you're new to the channel, I call my viewers plant foldies. And I typically like to talk about plants. So, you know, if you're in the live premiere chats or even in the comment section, please leave comments. Let me know about care tips and whatnot. But you can see they've got lots of plants. They've had to actually get some rolling racks to go put some of the overage of plants. So that's really cool. And this is a Lowe's location that I typically visit just to see the restocks. They often have restocks. So we're going to just kind of check out to see what other tropical plants they have here. I've been able to find some really nice finds. So, but you know, we're going to go outside first. I'm actually going to go outside and check out what they have in the outdoor section, and then go back inside and show you some of these plants. But as you guys can see, all of the outdoor sections for most big box stores, especially Lowe's, have really filled up. Look at how they've got so many Boston ferns and some gorgeous hydrangeas here. I do love me some hydrangeas. I think that the blooms are fabulous. And it depends on the acidity of the soil for hydrangeas, whether they're purple or pink or blue. So I always find that interesting. And you can see they've got a lot of Costa Farms hanging baskets, exotic angels. This one is that curly tornado lipstick plant right over here. And right over here for $20.98, we've got a philodendron hederaceum Brazil. Very common plant, but it's one of those plants that I would recommend any beginner houseplant enthusiast to grab, just because philodendron hederaceum, or you know, heart-shaped leaf philodendron, it's just really easy to take care of, and that variegation is stunning. Easy to propagate as well. The leaves get larger when you actually let them grow up a totem pole or a moss pole versus a hanging basket. And then this hanging basket right here is just overflowing with water. They watered it, but you can see that they have to drain it. And this one is actually a lipstick plant. I always have to like just drain all of that water because you don't want the roots to sit in water. That's how you get root rot. But this particular lipstick plant is a really nice one. I like how thick and waxy the leaves are. They remind me of like Hoya, and these are also easy to propagate plants. I don't currently own any lipstick plants in my collection. Plant foldies, if you are watching this video, leave in the comments if you grow lipstick plants. What is your experience with them? I'd really like to know. Because I like to learn from my viewers as well, as much as I like to give you guys my plant insights. Like right here is a Formosa creeping fig. I don't know a lot about the creeping fig, but it does say that it just can require medium light. So I'm not sure what the care tips are for this. I do like the texture of the leaves. I like how it's already trailing. And that's the thing with hanging baskets. You know, putting them in an indoor space is really nice. But if you can grow them out in the back patio or a shaded area, you can get a lot of hanging baskets. That's what I'm currently doing with my hanging baskets. And you can see these massive ferns, these Boston ferns right over here. I'm honestly not a big fan of growing ferns, but it seems like there is quite a bit of a demand if they're readily available. They remind me of like bromeliads, where you will always see them, as well as like orchids. And this is a really cool looking hanging basket of dogtail cactus. I didn't realize that this is a tropical cactus, and it is one that you don't want to put in like direct sunlight. I didn't realize that because I just assumed with cactus they just can take full sun, but this one doesn't necessarily need it or can tolerate that. So just, you know, keep that in mind. And then we're going to look at this other cactus here. This is an orchid cactus. So you can see that the leaves kind of look like orchid leaves. Really nice. And this one does like a lot of bright indirect light as well. This one is for $20.98. I don't know too much about orchid cactus, but you can see that the propagations on this hanging basket, they've you know, gotten some new foliage right there. It's always nice to check out these hanging baskets, even if we do see these same hanging baskets in most of my videos. I always am impressed at the fact that Costa Farms in general can produce so many of the same plants at the same size. But I did want to pan away and just show you how many plants they have here. And check this out. This is a Hydra Helix. Or the correct way to say it is Hedera Helix, which is an English ivy. This one is called the Hedera Helix Big Shot. I do love some English ivy. I talk about English ivies pretty much in every single video. And yes, I do like to say the word Hydra Helix incorrectly, just because, I don't know, I just think it's a cooler sounding way to say Hedera Helix. But you can see this right here. Now with English ivies, they're very challenging to grow indoors. For my new plant viewers or anybody just discovering my channel, English ivy, as gorgeous as they are as plants, they are very spider mite prone. So you have to really stay on top of their care tips if you're going to grow them indoors. Now, if you grow them outdoors, they're a little bit more hardy. They actually thrive better outdoors. But when you're growing them indoors, they definitely don't like to be overwatered. They thrive in neglect per se, but you also have to make sure to spray them with neem oil. I've killed about 12 English ivies in, the past 2 years. Lucky number 13 and 14 are doing well. It's because I've stayed on top of spraying them weekly with neem oil. And then right over here, we've got a teddy bear vine, beautiful looking teddy bear vine. I do like the texture of the leaves. They remind me of Tradescanthia, but I'm pretty sure that they're also easy to propagate and water, just like Tradescanthia. And then right over here, we have a variegated peperomia teardrop. I do like this a lot. I just like that it has that subtle variegation, and you can see this one is also filled with a lot of water. So what happens is when big box stores water hanging baskets, they don't actually have a drainage hole. It actually gets stuck on the catch tray. So whenever I go to big box stores, it sounds silly, but I actually drain the water so that the roots won't rot, and perhaps somebody might buy this particular plant. I don't like seeing plants go to waste. It's really sad that at big box stores, the majority of plants actually go in the trash because they never find homes. So that's why I also like to show you guys big box store plant shopping videos. The majority of my videos feature that because maybe you'll be inspired to go to a big box store and purchase some plants. But can we talk about how large and full all of these Boston fern are? Like, I don't even know what to say. So I'm just going to show you guys this scene of Boston ferns. now we are looking at a gorgeous looking Fatsa japonica or Japanese Aurelia. I recently acquired a Fatsa japonica camouflage where it has green on green variegation. I do intend to grow these indoors. So these are more plants that you can grow indoors. Love some Japanese Aurelia. I think they're gorgeous. And what's nice about it is I am based in North Dallas, and you can actually grow these outdoors and they can actually tolerate the harsh winters. If anything, they may get some damage on the leaves, but they will always come back once it gets warmer again. And you can see there's just even more ferns right over here. I'm not sure what ferns are really grown for, if they are just kind of like for patio decoration, but these are very, I would just say, a little bit overwhelming. I intend to grow more ferns, but I would just have to see which ones. Maybe the bird's nest fern. And then right here, we've got some ajuga, variegated ajuga. I bought these at another Lowe's location. These are really meant for a ground cover, but I really like the variegation. And this one is one that I would intend to grow indoors as well. We're gonna see if I'm able to do that. Right now, it's actually repotted in a gorgeous looking white planter, and it is outside in my front patio, just getting a lot of bright indirect light. And you can see this one has got some darker foliage ajuga. This one's for $468. So this again is more for ground cover, but I've seen that we can actually get that taken care of right over there. So we'll see what that looks like. And I just like seeing, you know, outdoor plants, see if we can actually grow them indoors. So I will document that as well. And you can see right here, this is a plant I would love to be able to grow. This is a cordyline plant or a tea plant. They come in many varieties. I like the dark foliage on these ones specifically. These ones are for $19.98. And that is another plant that if you grow indoors, unfortunately, it's very spider mite prone, but if you grow it outdoors in like a patio or even in full sun, they do very well. So we're gonna see about that. And you can see here we've got some Tradescanthia right here by Costa Farms, and then we got these larger Tradescanthias by Lowe's, and then we've got even more Boston fern right over here. Like, look at that. That's just a ton of ferns. So whenever you go to a big box store, I'm really curious in the comments if you guys can leave that to see if your Lowe's are as full as the ones out here in North Dallas. This one is a fuchsia plant for $9.98. I actually want to get this plant as well, maybe growing it in my patio. I saw a bunch of these when I went to Carmel by the Sea in California. They were just growing rampant, and I think that's awesome. There's a couple of plants that I'm wanting to get for outdoor planting and maybe having some containers. Caladiums is another thing that I'm going to be interested in. I was very successful in getting a bunch of caladiums a couple years back. I had a whole caladium patio garden, so we're going to see. But anyways, it's always nice to go to big box stores like Lowe's and even going out into the outdoor patio. Just because like right over here, this outdoor section has a bunch of, plants like these cyclamen. You know, you can't go to a Grow Folds video and not see cyclamen. They have become a favorite of mine to feature just because not only do they have beautiful blooms, but I really like the leaves and the leaf shape. And then right over here, we're going to be looking at some more plants. They've got some flowering plants. We've got some Kalia lilies right over here. I don't know if they really do take full sun, but you know, those are flowering plants that I often see at grocery stores in the floral section. So it's nice to see that they have them available at Lowe's. And look at these really tiny flowers. I'm just going to pan over here and show you some more outdoor area and some more outdoor plants. They've got a bunch of like assorted tropical planters, which I think is really cool. And even larger tropical landscaping plants. One that comes to mind would be the variegated ginger right here. I have tried to grow this in the past indoors, but unfortunately it didn't really do well for me. It ended up getting spider mites, and it just really requires a lot of light. But look at how gorgeous that variegation is. I might attempt to grow one of those again someday indoors, but we will see. And then right over here, we've got some Croton mames. These are for $19.98. I really like crotons. I just wish they weren't such a finicky plant. I would love to be able to grow one. My Croton Gold Dust ended up just dropping its leaves because I feel like I overwatered it. And that's surprising for me because I am more of an underwater. I feel like I don't have as much time during the day, you know, balancing work, and just life in general, plus YouTube, doing 1 hour, you know, plant shopping videos daily. I mean, the process to edit an actual video takes about 4 to 5 hours to get it completed, uploaded, and good to go. But I'm not complaining, because as you plant foldies have shown me, you guys like watching my plant shopping videos, and I really appreciate that. I just hope that if you haven't already for this video, please hit the like button. It really helps support my efforts to give you guys daily content. And here we're looking at some croton petras. We just looked at a bunch of bougainvilleas, gorgeous looking plants. And we have some more bougainvilleas here. Now, the thing about bougainvilleas is to get them to bloom, if you don't water them as much, the plant actually feels like it's about to die, and it ends up shooting a bunch of blooms as if it's trying to like reproduce itself. So that was a trick that I learned, and it actually worked out for me when I had bougainvilleas. And then we have a bunch of kangaroo palms right here. Nice looking ones. I love the coloration of it. I didn't realize that it was more of a succulent plant. And I did want to pan over here and show you the beautiful roses. I miss my rose garden. I loved having like a variegated rose garden. The thing about roses is you definitely don't want to top water them. So don't take like a hose and hose down the leaves, because if you get the leaves wet and they stay wet, they are susceptible to getting like fungus, and it's just not good. And that's the thing about roses. They are susceptible to a lot of like leaf diseases, aphids, and whatnot. They do better in hotter conditions. Like Texas is actually a great place for roses. Give them a lot of bright sun, and just deadhead them. So like if a rose starts to die, like all of the blooms, cut those blooms back and you'll get more reblooms. That's, you know, some of my tricks. I might end up growing roses someday. For now, I will be focusing on my Japanese garden. And one of the staples of a Japanese garden would be azaleas. I love featuring encore azaleas just because encore azaleas are azaleas that actually can rebloom. They rebloom at least 3 times a year, spring, summer, and fall, versus just the typical azaleas that will just bloom in the springtime. And you can see that they've got so many varieties here. The encore azalea actually has been hybridized to where they're a little bit more compact. And I just love the flowers. And then I love looking at these knockout roses. It might just be a basic red rose, but with knockout roses, they are very profuse in the way they bloom. You can cut them. I've even thought about, you know, growing these roses and making rose tea. I love the fragrant smell of the roses. And with knockout roses, they are always reblooming. And look at how gorgeous they look right now. They're very vigorous growers. I mean, gosh, actually looking at these roses again makes me want to think about like maybe putting some roses in my my garden beds and just checking that out. Right now, I just have a bunch of Japanese maples and, you know, just those types of plants. And here are some gorgeous hostas. Now, I was told you can grow hostas indoors. That is another plant I'm not 100% sure of. These ones are for $7.98. I like the green on green variegation. I might experiment to try to grow them indoors. So a plant foldy and a viewer subscriber actually left in the comments that you can actually grow a lot of these outdoor plants indoors. You just have to give them the right lighting conditions. And what I found is with outdoor specific plants, they are more susceptible to spider mites, so you might just have to stay on top of it, making sure that you're giving them like the right humidity. And this is really cool. I like this cordyline. This one's for $10.98. This one actually looks like to be a Costa Farms release cordyline. This is actually different. They actually remind me more so of like a Dracaena marginata. Not a bad price at all. I do like the color of the foliage. That maroon chocolatey color looks really nice. Now, I am a fan of these cordyline, but again, cordyline are a little bit finicky to grow indoors. So while it's still warm, I'm just going to grow mine outdoors. I ended up getting one at Walmart. And in plant foliage, you can see they've got a sea full of mandevilla flowers. I've never grown this plant, never grown mandevilla flowers, but you know, it looks like they could be a profuse bloomer as well. They do require full sun. And you can see right here, we've got some gorgeous alocasia in a mixed tropical planter, and we've got some more cordyline just underneath it. But let me just pan over here so you could see that our Lowe's location, pretty much every Lowe's location is full of plants. And you can see these are my hostage plants. So every time I see a pallet full of plants that are still in their boxes, I always call them hostage plants because they need to get out of the boxes onto the floor so plant lovers like myself and you can actually purchase them. And right over here, you know, I haven't seen a lot of Vanda orchids as of late in some Lowe's, but this is nice to see that they've got them. Love me some Vanda orchids because look at how large the blooms are. So exotic looking. Love it. And look at how majestic that purple looks for those Vanda orchids. Now, my family is from the Philippines. And when I think about a Vanda orchid, I think about a Vanda orchid called waling. So if you ever get a chance to Google that, it is one of the most gorgeous orchids you will ever see. And here we have the typical Phalaenopsis orchids that you will see at Lowe's, grocery stores, big box stores. They're just everywhere. And I just love the fact that they're available year round. And in here is an Epipremnum aureum Manjula Pothos. Love me some Manjula Pothos. It is another plant that I absolutely love. Love that it's got more rounder leaves, and the fact that Urban Jungle has them in, you know, hanging baskets with a nice terracotta or just like a nice ceramic planter is really nice. It's for $14.98, and here is another cool looking hanging basket full of Philodendron Brantianum, and that is not a bad price at all. $14.98 for a full basket of Philodendron Brantianum. Now this philodendron actually requires a little bit more humidity, so you just have to make sure your humidity levels meet that expectation for that specific philodendron. I have some growing, and if you grow it on a totem pole, moss pole, or plank, those leaves will get huge. And then over here, we've got some more Phalaenopsis orchids and just different types of orchids. I'm going to pan over here. It looks like this Lowe's has a decent amount of plants. I wouldn't say that they've gotten restocked with a lot of like new Costa Farms plants, but you know, like this right here, I would actually buy this hanging basket of black rabbit's foot fern just because you can see the fuzzy aerial roots that they've got. And then obviously we're going to look at all of these Phalaenopsis orchids. Lowe's definitely has quite a bit of orchid diversity. It's one of the best places to get orchids, and I always love looking at this. So this plant is called a Snow White waffle plant. I actually bought one from Lowe's. Mine didn't do as well. It's kind of crisping up, but I just love the colors and the variegation. I would assume that plant is just really thirsty and also needs a lot of humidity. And then we're gonna just walk over here and look at some more plants. There's just a lot of plants to look at this Lowe's. You know, it's a Lowe's that is really close to where I'm based at. So it's very easy for me to drive and just kind of check out what kind of new plants they have. Now, this plant here has been around for a little bit. This is an Urban Jungle Syngonium Maria for $13.98. Again, I always talk about this in all of my videos. I just wish that Urban Jungle would have like solid terracotta planters, smooth ones that were either matte versus having a bunch of texture. I just think it would work better for my aesthetics. And then you can see right over here, we've got an Epipremnum aureum Enjoy, one of my favorite types of pothos. It is a slower growing pothos, and it doesn't have nearly as large as leaves as some of the other pothos like golden pothos. And then we got a Philodendron Hederaceum lemon lime. Gotta love that yellow foliage. And then we've got more hanging baskets here. And look at that, that is another plant find. For those looking for Manjula Pothos, they are out and about at Lowe's. This one is for $16.98, the smaller hanging basket of Epipremnum aureum Manjula Pothos. Really like that a lot. It's a nice looking pothos. It's one that I would definitely purchase at some point, and I don't know. I've purchased it before, but you can never have enough of them. And then right over here is a really cute dogtail cactus. This one is also for $16.98. It's definitely a tropical looking cactus. And I just like how fuzzy the spikes are. It's a really nice looking plant. And then you can see right there, that's a Dracaena Massangiana or a cane Dracaena next to a bunch of bird of paradise. Now with bird of paradise, you already know the drill. It really needs to be a lot of bright and direct light. In places like Florida, for instance, they just grow them outdoors in their landscapes and they can actually bloom. And I'm just gonna walk over here and just show you a couple more plants. So it looks like they got a lot of plants just kind of mixed around. We've got some Calathea, some bromeliads, some Dracaenas, some Dieffenbachias right over here. So it's not as I would say, merchandise as well as some of the other times I've been to this location. But when you have so many plants overflowing, it's kind of difficult to keep them organized. So I'll give the store some credit, but I do like the fact that the majority of their plants look healthy. This actually looks like a jungle setting when you just kind of pan the camera over, and you can see that they've got another set of like hanging baskets over there. So if you want some house plants, I would always recommend Lowe's. At least the Lowe's locations in North Dallas are typically full of plants, and they've got a bunch of plants in general to choose from. Like right here, we've got a Ficus triangularis available to purchase by Urban Jungles. This one's for $13.98. I rarely see Ficus triangularis offered by Urban Jungle in these little small planters, but it's really nice to see. Really nice looking ficus, but it is a finicky plant. I guess with most ficus plants, they're always finicky. They need a lot of light, and they thrive better with higher humidity. And then I've been finding a bunch of rare, or not rare, but uncommon alocasias by Urban Jungle. It's like I will find an Alocasia cuprea. Now today I found an Alocasia black velvet. The other time I was at another Lowe's, I found like an Alocasia dragon scale. I do like Alocasia. Mine are doing okay. I wouldn't say that they're thriving, but they're definitely not getting spider mites, which is great. And you can see we've got some more Scindapsus moonlight right there. I remember when I was doing plant shopping videos earlier this year, you would find a bunch of Scindapsus moonlights trending tropicals by Costa Farms, but I haven't seen as many as of late. And I'm gonna just pan over here and just show you just a couple more plants. So this Syngonium is tiny. I thought this was a Syngonium mini pixie, but this is called a Syngonium white butterfly. Maybe this is a very tiny baby of a Syngonium white butterfly, but it doesn't look like a Syngonium white butterfly. It really looks like one of those pixie Syngoniums. So I ended up not planning on buying one, but I ended up picking this one up because I wanted to add it to my Syngonium collection. Syngoniums are one of my favorite plants to take care of. They're easy to take care of. The only thing with Syngoniums is you don't really want them to dry out and be underwatered, because when they start to do that, their health starts to decline and they become very susceptible to like spider mites and mealybugs. They do require more bright indirect light. They can tolerate lower light conditions, but they will definitely get leggy. And so those are just some of my care tips for Syngoniums. I would still recommend Syngoniums as a common and easy houseplant for beginners. And right over here, we've got a Pilea dark mystery plant. I wish they offered the smaller version for $5.98 versus the $7.98. I am collecting Pilea plants because I think that their foliage look really cool. And then I just wanted to show you this Syngonium again. Like, look at that. That looks more like a Syngonium pixie or one of those like dwarf Syngoniums versus a Syngonium white butterfly. I've seen Syngonium white butterflies really have large leaves, so I don't know if that's just a mislabel. Let me know in the comments if you think the same or if I'm just incorrect. I always like to hear from you guys. And if you haven't already and you're looking at all of these gorgeous plants, please, 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 please hit that like button for me on the video. I'd really appreciate that. And then here we've got a cream illusion Syngonium. I love the light foliage leaves on these Syngonium, and even that faint red or pink veining on the leaves. So that's really nice. And then here we have a Hydra Helix. Gotta love your English ivy. This one is a full hanging basket of English ivy. This one doesn't have a specific cultivar name, but this is an Exotic Angel Costa Farms release for $20.98. And then we've got some more hanging basket of fern right over here. We've got a yucca plant right there, and just more Exotic Angel starter plants. I do like collecting these. And you can see right here, we've got another Hydra Helix. This one is a Francis Hedera Helix English Ivy. What I like about the Francis Hedera Helix is you can see that the veins have, or the foliage has like more texture, like veining texture about it. And then here is a Bettina Hydra Helix. This Hedera Helix is one of my favorites. I actually own one of these, but you can see we've got a lot of Hydra Helix. Say it with me, guys. Hydra Helix. Okay, I'm gonna stop. But anyways, More exotic angel plants. I do love showing you guys these. These are plants that you can grow into larger specimen plants. I think they're priced well, especially at Lowe's. These ones are for $5.98. And then I did want to show you this right here. I am tempted to get another croton. This Sunny Star croton is really gorgeous, and you can get better yellow colors the more light you give it. I'm going to be growing crotons in direct sunlight if or full sun once I get that situated. And you can see right here we've got a strawberry begonia. I love the strawberry begonia. I think it's really cute when they start pushing out babies. They just have these little threads like this, and then they have babies that you can easily propagate. I like the undersides of the leaves, and then the leaves are also like texture, like fuzzy and texturally just beautiful. That's what I'm trying to say. And then these ones are for $16.98. I do have the variegated version of the strawberry begonia, so we're going to see if we can grow those. And you can see here they've got some more overflow of bromeliads. I have yet to get a bromeliad in my collection, and you can see all of these hostage plants. They probably got some cool looking urban jungle plants. I might have to go visit this in a day or two once they release those from the wild. And then right over here we've got a staghorn fern in a crate. That's really cool. I want to go ahead and put one on a wooden mount and grow it. And then right over here we've got another Epipremnum aureum marble queen pothos. Really like that a lot. That one is for $14.98 by Urban Jungle. And then we just got a couple more overflow of plants. Like they've just got all of these plants mixed up because they don't have any space. And you can see right here we've got an Epipremnum pinnatum Cebu blue pothos for $14.98. I love Cebu blue pothos. They grow very quickly and they're easy to propagate. You can take a bunch of cuttings, put them in water, and then like a week or two later they will be rooting. And you can see that is a bird's nest fern. And then they've got a bunch of Calatheas right over here. These are Calathea medallions. These ones are for $15.98 in a self-watering planter. And again, with Calatheas, if you grow them hydroponically, which means grow them in just straight water, they will actually do better. They're just easier to take care of and maintain. And right over here, we've got some type of Tradescanthia. I'm not sure what that specific one is. That is a Costa Farms hanging basket release. And then right over here, we've got a Dracaena sandriana and also a Belgian waffle plant. So this has more of like a caramel variegation versus more pinks and purples. I do like waffle plants. I was able to find a Belgian waffle plant hanging basket for clearance at H-E-B, which is a grocery store in Texas. And right over here, we've got some mini variegated lipstick plant. This one actually has some pretty good variegation. I would love to add a lipstick plant into my collection just because I do like that waxy foliage. The texture of the leaves are very waxy, and that's just nice to see. And then right over here, we've got more plants. This plant right here I was talking about is a Dracaena sandriana, and I actually want to pick up this plant today. Dracaenas are underrated plants. They're very easy to take care of, and just look at the variegation and the yellow and neon green foliage it has. I'm gonna see if I can grow this successfully and if I can grow this to be a very large plant. With Dracaenas, they can get very large very quick. Well, I wouldn't say very quickly, but with very minimal care. And then over here, we've just got some more plants to take a look at. This one is the Fittonia juanita. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are some more of the plants that we often see. I know I feature these plants pretty much in every video, but it's always nice to look at the plants. And for anybody that's new to my channel, welcome. I like showing you these easy to care for plants like this Epipremnum aureum neon pothos. Now with pothos plants, they can tolerate lower light conditions. Just remember, especially if you're growing pothos, that the more light you give it, the better growth you're going to get. They're going to be more vigorous and they're going to be less leggy. But I did want to just pan over here and just show you all the plants that they have available at this Lowe's. And this is pretty much all I'm going to be showing in this Lowe's shopping video. There's just a couple more plants I want to pan over. Just these exotic angel plants like this one right here, this Schefflera Moondrop. Really like that a lot. It's more of a compact dwarf Schefflera umbrella plant. I have one growing in my collection and it's doing very well. And I do like that subtle albo variegation, but You know, it's always just nice to go to these big box stores. I know I've been featuring a lot of Lowe's big box store plant shopping videos. I'm hoping to go to Walmart and Home Depot soon, but you can see that Lowe's, at least in the North Dallas area, has been getting restocked. They've been getting a lot of hanging baskets, and then the hanging baskets right over here have just got a lot of varieties. And then right over here we have those exotic angel plants. And the next place we're gonna go to is one of my favorite places to shop, and it is at the H-E-B in McKinney, Texas. So grocery plant shopping is actually a nice thing for me, because what I've discovered with grocery plant shopping is that the plants are typically more available, not more, I was gonna say more expensive, but actually a lot cheaper than buying them at big box stores. Like you can see right here, these geraniums, what gorgeous looking geraniums right here. I do like that these geraniums have that little purple around it, that little ring. But what I dislike about geraniums is they don't smell that great, but you can get a huge hanging basket for $15.97. And then they've got a bunch of petunias right over here. Petunias are all over, and what's interesting about petunias, I think, is that they just have hybridized them where there's just different varieties, and you can see there's more Boston ferns, so we're never going to run out of ferns. And then they've got a bunch of wax begonias. Look at these large wax begonias in hanging baskets of plants, $14.97 at H-E-B. So that is what I love about H-E-B. H-E-B is really just a chain of grocery stores all over the Houston area. They made it to Dallas. They were also in Austin, and I really love shopping at H-E-B. Most of actually the majority of products sold at H-E-B are locally sourced from Texas. So it's all Texas. Even these plants are grown in Texas, which I really like. Look at those petunias. And these are only for $9.97. You get a bunch of petunias for $9.97. I don't think that is a bad price at all. And that's the reason why I like to go to big box stores, local plant nurseries, and grocery stores. It gives you some type of comparison for like prices and what is a really good price. Like $8.97 for that hanging basket of wax begonias. I think that is amazing. I know that I want to grow some wax begonias long-term indoors. I have a couple growing outside, and they're already pushing out a bunch of new growth. And right over here, we have some really nice blooming kalanchoe baskets, but these are for $19.97. That is a lot of kalanchoe for that price. So I love H-E-B. If you are a local plant foldie or viewer subscriber in the North Dallas area, let me know what other places you shop at. You know, leave me in the comments any plant videos that you'd want to see, just because I want to broaden my my content to be able to just get you all sorts of plants. You know, whenever you do daily 1 hour big box store video, plant shopping videos, you want to try to diversify. It can be a little bit challenging, but I am I'm open to suggestions. So right now we're going to be walking into the Texas backyard, which typically H-E-B has, where they also feature more plants indoors. Like here we have a bunch of these plants. So I remember seeing these at another H-E-B. These are all for $6. These are 5-inch starter planters. This one is a Croton Petra. Now this Croton doesn't have nearly as much coloration as some of the other Croton Petras I've seen, but needless to say, for $6, that is not a bad price at all for these types of plants. I mean, you know, you tell me what your plant pricing looks like. Right? Like this is really cool. If you wanted some string of pearls, these are really nice looking string of pearls for $6. Not a bad price at all. And these are actually string of beads, not pearls, string of beads. Either way, these string of beads are not a bad price at all for $6. And they are pretty vigorous growers, easy to propagate as well. And then right over here, we've got a peperomia for $6. I don't know the specific peperomia. This is a little bit more waxy looking, which I like. And it's just green, so that's pretty cool. And then we have some more ferns. What else do we have going on right here? We've got some type of Tradescanthia, like a smaller one. They call this the creeping inch plant. These are for $6, and you can see they've got some nice looking pink. These are a little bit too small for me though. I think the texture is a little too small, and this type of plant looks like it would be one of those plants that can get very leggy. Like that one's starting to get very leggy. But again, these are for $6. This one is a better specimen right here. This one is a little bit more full. I like the fuchsia, lavender, purple, pink variegation that this particular plant has. And that's the thing about HEB. If you happen to be lucky to go check out HEB, they also sell some rare aroids like Philodendron Pink Princess, Thai Constellations, and Philodendron Ring of Fires. Those are a couple of like rarer aroids that I have found at HEB. And we've got right over here another polka dot plant. This is a combination one where they have pink, white, and red polka dot plants. That's for $6. That is a challenging plant for me to grow indoors. Maybe if they grow outdoors, they might be a little bit better. But you can see this HEB out in McKinney, Texas, right off of Custer Road. They have a fairly good selection of plants. And look at this. They've just got a crap ton of cactus and succulent. These are all for $2.97. Costa Farms release. And then we've got some creeping Jenny right over here. And these are the HEB hanging baskets. These are all for $14.97. These hanging baskets are much larger than, you know, some of the other hanging baskets we've seen. So you get a really good price for like all of this Tredscanthia, for instance, and the creeping Jenny. And then this is just a green version of Swedish ivy. Really like that a lot. I have a couple of Swedish ivy. I have the white edge Swedish ivy, and then I also have the guacamole Swedish ivy, which is like a green on green variegation. But you can see right here, there are hanging baskets for indoor plants, $14.97. Not a bad price at all. And you can see that they've gotten a shipment of plants, larger foliage plants. We've got some bird of paradise right over here. What else do we have? We've got a large Pachira aquatica. I'm curious to see how much this price is, because if it's a pretty good price, which I'm assuming will be, I may end up just getting the green money tree Pachira aquatica plant. And you can see that HEB has a lot of plant supplies. They've got some really nice terracotta planters. Actually, I love terracotta planters. I think they're very classic. I especially like the ones that are just smooth with no lip. And we've got some more terracotta planters, more planters in general. We're just gonna walk over here and see what else they have. They've got soils and different types of fertilizer. They've got pest control. So all the things that you would need for plant care, they've got here. And I love the fact that they have the Happy Fox soil series and a bunch of Fox Farm liquid fertilizer. So I have I'm going to be buying a couple more just so I can use them for my hydroponics. I've got the boomerang one, which is supposed to help with just bringing plants back to good health, especially through neglect. If you've neglected a plant, that particular fertilizer helps, you know, revitalize the plant. So we'll see. And they've got some more soil amendments right there. I buy my perlite actually at HEB. They got the most cost-effective perlite available. And then they've just got a bunch of like pesticides here and even more fertilizer. Yeah, so it's just really nice to go to these different, you know, grocery stores, like $8.97 for all of these ferns, these bird's nest ferns by Costa Farms. Typically, this would be like $12.97 at like a big box store, but look at how cheap these are, $8.97. I might actually end up going back to this HEB and buying me a bird's nest fern or even a sago palm. Like, I wasn't about sago palms, but this one is really cute, and for $8.97, that is not a bad price at all. Like, plant folies, let me know in the comments if you agree. And for those that are in the local area, for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, have you gone to HEBs and purchased plants? If you haven't and you're watching my videos, I would highly recommend it, and just let me know. Now, if you find a really cool plant and you have Instagram, please take a photo of the plant, tag me at GrowFolds, and use the hashtag plantfoldies. And that way we can continue to grow our community on Instagram. I've been able to connect with a bunch of you guys already on Instagram. Love chatting with you, love receiving direct messages. So if you haven't already, check that out. And if you haven't already and you made it to this far into the video, please hit the like button. It really does help me out. Now, what I think is really cool is this little tray of different types of succulents and cactus. Look at that. That is like in a 6-pack. Normally when you see a 6-pack planter, it would be with like blooming flowers like marigolds or something of that nature. But you can see they've got a bunch of different types of succulents. I think that's really cool. And I believe all of these succulents are only for $12.97. which is really not a bad price at all considering you're getting an assortment of succulents. You can make a succulent arrangement. And you can see they've got some large foliage plants. Like, look at how large this ZZ plant is. For $59.97 in a 14-inch planter, that is not bad at all. Alongside with these Aglaonema Silver Bay. So if you are new to my channel, I always talk about aglaonemas. Aglaonemas are my favorite type of houseplant because they're easy to grow. They can tolerate lower light conditions. They can be very good with underwatering. Actually, they prefer to be underwatered versus overwatering, and they just have so many varieties. And you can see there's a lot of fern. Like, I am shocked that I've seen a lot of fern just available. And then right over here, we've got a bunch of succulents again and cactus for $2.97, as well as exotic angels, Costa Farms starter plants for $3.98. This is the cheapest I've ever seen any exotic angel plants by Costa Farms. Typically, if you go to Walmart, you can find them for $4.97. If you go to like Lowe's or Home Depot, they're in like the $5.54 range, $5.98 range. H-E-B has them all beat with the $3 amount that you would pay for those plants. So again, if you're gonna go plant shopping, or if you're curious to see how much plant pricing are, just check out my plant shopping videos. Again, for those that are just tuning in or discovering my channel, I try to do daily 1-hour plant shopping videos to talk about plant names, plant care, plant tips, plant everything, plant prices. And I like to just show you these different plants. Like, these bromeliads are only $8.98. So most bromeliads are actually like $15, $24. But you can go to H-E-B and buy these in gorgeous looking simple terracotta planters for $8.98. This one's really precious. And you can see that I'm indoors now. Like, I'm in the indoor section of the grocery store. And I was actually curious to buy this plant. I was wanting to buy a coffee plant, and they just recently got these coffee plants. I was looking for a variegated coffee plant, but even this coffee plant would be a nice candidate. I believe these are only for like $4, so that is not a bad price at all for a 5-inch starter plant, especially a coffee plant. And then right over here we've got some more Peperomia obtusifolias variegatas. Really like that as well. I like that the leaves are waxy, thick, and I also love the variegation. Now with this plant, it does require a lot of bright indirect light if you're gonna give it, if you wanna go promote the variegation. The variegation is really light influence. So some variegated plants are different, but that one's more light influence. And look at this. This one is for $15.98. This bird's nest fern, it is a nice looking fern. I like the jaggedy leaves. And then right over here, we've got some begonia maculatas as well for $15.98 or $15.97. Not a bad price at all. So if you're not wanting to spend like $20 or $19 on a Costa Farms trending tropicals, you know, begonia maculata, I would just go to H-E-B if you are locally, you know, based in Dallas. And then these are really cool. Epipremnum Arium Marble Queen totems. These are for $6.98. So they've already got it set up to where these Pothos plants are actually going to be growing up a totem. The leaves will get very large. And then right over here, we've got some type of green philodendron. I'm not 100% sure what this green philodendron is, but what I am sure about is it's gorgeous. Look at how just green the foliage is. And that's the thing. Sometimes just straight green plants like this Ficus Audrey make a bigger statement than perhaps a plant that is highly variegated or just has a lot of colors. I do love the Ficus Audrey. I have one that is about 4 feet tall in my backyard. It lost all its leaves, but it's now pushing out new buds, so it's going to make a full recovery. You know, growing these ficus plants, they do better outdoors anyway. And you can see this one right here. I'm almost tempted to buy this green philodendron. If you guys know the plant ID for that, leave it in the comments under a timestamp or in the live premiere chats. Would love to get that plant identification going. But you could see H-E-B is always rotating their plants. I love looking at their plants because you will never be surprised. Like, I'm actually surprised to show you this. Look at this gorgeous looking silver band Maranta. Apparently this is an actual plant that is a little bit, this Maranta is a little bit more uncommon or rare. I have a lot of plant foldies in Canada, so shout out to my plant foldies. in Canada, but apparently this one is actually rare out in Canada. For $9.98, that is not a bad price at all. And I'm actually thinking about getting a silver band Maranta. Now, if I do get it, I will put it in hydroponic. And you can see right over here, we've got another spider plant and a bunch of assorted succulents. All of these plants right here are for $9.97 in these planters. This one is just a green Peperomia obtusifolia, not a bad price at all. I just wish that the Max and Miles line, which is basically the supplier of all these plants, would just do better with the planters. I'm not really a big fan of the texture. I just wish they would just have like a solid terracotta planter. And then this right over here is an oyster plant or cradle of Moses plant for $9.98. Not a bad looking plant as well. I do like the pink, but the thing about it is this plant can get leggy, so make sure you're getting it a lot of bright light. I recently got one that was more of a purple version at Lowe's that's meant to be more outdoors, but you can see they've got a bunch of assorted plants here for $9.98. And I did want to show you some more plants. So these ones are for $14.98. This is some type of Dieffenbachia right here in a 6-inch starter planter. Not a bad price at all. But with Dieffenbachia, they are a little bit more challenging to grow. And right over here, we've got an Aglonema, perhaps Aglonema Maria for $14.98. That's not a bad price considering Aglonema for these sizes are typically in the $20 range. I love this Aglonema. It's an easy to care for plant again. If you haven't already added an Aglonema in your plant collection, I would highly recommend it. And that's the thing, plant foldies, I will always have that agenda to recommend plants that I like. You know, like this Calathea right here, that's not a bad looking Calathea. If you are going to grow Calatheas, try to grow them in hydroponics in just straight water and see how that goes. And I do love my little miniature roses here. I had some indoor azaleas, Azalea Simpsonii, but they didn't do as well for me because I was an underwaterer. But look at how cute these miniature roses are. Now for miniature roses that you buy at like a grocery store or get as a gift, like in the floral department, do you actually grow those into the landscape outdoors? Please leave it in the comments if you have. Let me know how that goes because I am interested in possibly doing that. And then I'm going to finish off the video here by just showing you guys a bunch of assorted succulents right here by HEB. This one's a variegated one. I'm not 100% sure how much these cost. I'm assuming they're going to be like $6 like the other plants that they have here. And you could look at this right here. Look at this cool looking cactus. This one has some fuzzy spikes as well. And that's the thing about HEB. I will continue to check these out because they have really nice plants for a really cost-effective price. You can see right here, they've got some spider plants for $14.97 in a hanging basket. And these are really cool because you can take the babies right here and actually propagate them and make more spider plants. And you can see we've got a bunch of exotic angel starter plants here for $3.98. That is the most inexpensive exotic angel plants I've seen. So that's why I ended up getting one of these like Galaxy Aralia. I wasn't really planning on like collecting a bunch of these plants, but now that I've got my plant room set up at the front office, I'll be able to collect a couple more of these exotic angel plants. And you can see right here, I just love looking at the Snow White waffle plant. Even if it is a more challenging plant, I just love the pink variegation, the cream variegation, that purple undertone. It's just really lovely. And what else do we have here? We've just got a bunch of exotic angel plants. Leave in the comments what you guys like to see in terms of what plants you want me to feature. I will be doing a lot of plant shopping next week, so I've got that planned, and I'm hoping to show you more plants aside from just Costa Farm. So I might start going back to local plant nursery in Dallas, but you guys got to see this. This is another Hedera Helix, or Hedera Helix is the correct way to say. English Ivy. This is the Ingrid Liz English Ivy, and this is for $3.98. Most of the time you would pay like $5.48 or $4.97 at a big box store. So HEB has it. I love HEB. You can go to a grocery store, get your groceries, and also buy plant supplies, and also, you know, get plants like this. Like these are for $6. This is a Rojo Congo philodendron. I like it a lot. This has a little bit of leaf damage, but this is an easy to care for philodendron, and it can get as large in width as about like 3 feet tall. I did buy a philodendron silver sword. Super excited when I saw this at HEB, and for $6 that is not bad. I am going to be growing mine up a totem pole or moss pole so that the leaves can get large. And the same thing with this. This is a peperomia Golden Gate. I really like that a lot for $6. Really like the variegation on it. I recently repotted it in a 6-inch planter. This is a 5-inch, so I just went an inch up, and hopefully it will do well for me. And then we've just got more plants right over here, some fern. We've got another peperomia right here. Again, I'm not sure what type of peperomia this is, but it is only for $6. So I'm actually curious to see why grocery stores like HEB can sell their plants for even way cheaper than even a big box store. That is a mystery to me. But as always, thank you for watching my video. This is Richie at Grow Folds. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.